What's up guys, today I just wanted to show you the things I did to improve the quality of my sleep and be able to fall asleep faster. So the reason I decided to improve my sleep was because my first year of junior college football, my body was just getting super beat up. The year before my first year of college level football, it was quarantine. And during quarantine, I was just lifting weights, sprinting, and doing defensive back drills. And I went right into actually being a college level athlete and going through football practice every day. So yeah, I was just extremely sore and I wanted a way to deal with it. That's when I started researching a lot about recovery. And I read stuff like massaging, ice baths, sauna, and all of that stuff helps a little bit, but the main thing you could do for your recovery is improve your sleep. And yeah, that's where I learned the things that I'm about to share with you in this video. So the first I'm gonna mention is getting a weighted blanket. I do a lot of research about sleep and for some reason this doesn't really get mentioned that much. When I first got the blanket, I noticed I was like falling into another dimension every time I slept. And I told my friend about it, and as you could see here, he was texting me that it helped him a lot too. And also with my mom, like she usually takes 15-minute naps, but one time she decided to try out my weighted blanket when she was visiting me, and she ended up falling asleep for 2 hours. I'm not sure on the exact science on how it works. I heard it like reduces anxiety because of the weight it puts on you. But yeah, I'm just very confused on why this doesn't get mentioned because, this is something that helped me out a lot and the thing that helped out my sleep the most out of everything I'm gonna say on this list. So if you don't have one, I highly recommend getting one. Another thing that helped me out a lot was making better decisions right before bed. Before I picked a better unwinding activity, I was doing things like watching UFC or football highlights right before bed, and that would sometimes hype me up. And I have a lot of friends that are computer scientists and they say they play League of Legends right before bed and they have trouble falling asleep. You don't really want to do anything that's going to hype you up right before bed. Instead, I recommend doing things like journaling or reading. I've heard listening to a podcast helps, or stretching. You just want to pick more chill activities to do right before bed since it's going to help you fall asleep while you're doing it. And I'll make another video about this later on, but I just recommend doing some stuff that's going to help you chill out right before bed and not hype you up. So if you listen to any neuroscientists, they're always going to say have a good sleep environment, which is a dark, quiet, and cold room. So I decided to get blackout curtains because every time I slept at a hotel and there was curtains, I noticed I'd fall asleep really easily and it would be super hard to get up in the morning because I was just sleeping so good. If you don't feel like getting blackout curtains, you could always just get a blindfold like this, and it does almost the same thing. It does fall off during the sleep, so if you can, I still recommend getting blackout curtains. Then if it's pretty loud where you sleep, like when I was in college and there was always stuff in the dorms going on, I would just use earplugs, and it's something I still do now because there's just random stuff that goes on outside. And for it being cold, you could always just turn on a fan or open up a window, but if you can't afford it, I would say probably get an air conditioner, or my brother has something called the 8 Sleep, which actually is a cooling mattress, and he said it's been helping him out a bunch. But yeah, just make sure you have a good sleep environment. Another thing is going to sleep and waking up around the same time every day, but I understand this isn't an option for a lot of people. For example, I have a friend that sometimes has to go into work at 2 a.m. and some days it's later in the day, so for people like him, it's not an option, but if you can, I highly recommend doing it. And I'd say this is so important that if you go to sleep late, I would say it's better to just wake up at the same time and you lose 2 or 3 hours than to sleep in and mess up your circadian rhythm. The times I have slept in and messed up my circadian rhythm, I feel like it would have been a lot better if I just woke up off 5.5 hours of sleep and got on with my day. Because the days I do sleep in, I find it really hard to fall back asleep at night, and I find that I lose more sleep this way than if I just woke up early the previous day. But most neuroscientists are aware of this, so they say the rule of thumb is just 80% of the time try and get on a good circadian rhythm. Now this I got from a YouTuber called Hamza, and he talked about the concept saying earn your sleep. He's just basically saying that if you do nothing all day, it's going to be hard to fall asleep, and I could vouch for this because during quarantine, when I'll just lay in bed doom scrolling on TikTok all day, I found it very hard to go to sleep at night. Then when I became a student athlete, I found it very easy because, I was actually doing stuff. I was going to class, going to practice, doing daily tasks throughout the day, and yeah, it was a lot easier. But this is just something to keep in mind even on your rest days. Like sometimes days where I wouldn't have practice, I'll just again lay in bed all day doom scrolling. So instead I'll just go for a walk, do some homework, just do something so that I'll still be able to fall asleep at night. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. Make sure on your rest days you still do stuff throughout the day. A thing that's become kind of a trend now is taping your mouth shut at night, and even though it's kind of a dumb TikTok thing, I could say it does actually work. I started doing it because when my brother did it, he has a Whoop band, which is sort of like an Oura ring that tracks your recovery and your sleep quality, and he noticed when he taped his mouth shut, a lot of his scores went up by a pretty decent amount. And when I did it, I could confidently say when I woke up I felt a lot better, and at the very least I could say my throat wasn't dry when I woke up because my mouth was closed the whole time. So that's just one little actual benefit of it. And I see there's a lot of brands that sell like their brand of mouth tape, and my boss gave me a set, and you know, it does help a lot. But I noticed the like 3M tape that you can get from CVS or just get a big box of it online works the same. So yeah, I just recommend, you know, getting this if you want to save some money. But if you can't afford it, yeah, you could also get this. So yeah, taping your mouth shut is another thing you could do to improve the quality of your sleep. Now, these are just some things I thought I should mention really quick. First is getting sunlight early in the morning and throughout the day. A lot of neuroscientists talk about this, and I used to, when I woke up, I used to just go outside for 10 minutes and, you know, get some vitamin D and the sunlight, but I stopped doing it just because, you know, I prefer to just get on with my day. If you have the means for it, I recommend doing it, but if not, I think it's all good just to open up your window in the morning and, you know, get the sunlight that way and just get it throughout the day when you can. Another thing is weed. So while I was learning things to improve my sleep, a lot of neuroscientists would say, contrary to popular belief, weed actually decreases the quality of your sleep. It helps you fall asleep faster, but it does actually block your REM sleep, which is like how deep you go while you sleep. The same thing with drinking a glass of red wine before bed, which is another common thing people say to do. And with the weed, I know it's kind of true because when I was playing college football, a lot of my teammates would smoke weed, but right before the season, a lot of them would stop because they wanted to focus on the games and the practices and whatnot. And they would tell me that when they stopped, they started having super vivid dreams. And you know, that's because they just started getting REM sleep again. So it's something to keep in mind if you are smoking weed. But I understand, you know, I live in California. A lot of people need their, you know, their weed at night. But if you can, I recommend trying to stop if you want better sleep. Now, lastly, caffeine. I don't drink coffee, but I do drink tea once in a while. And the people that I follow say around 10 hours is the time to cut off caffeine before you go to bed. But I'm in college and, you know, I meet some people that, you know, need to stay awake after class. So they're drinking caffeine like 4 hours before they go to bed. And some of them are able to fall asleep, but a lot of other people complain that, you know, they can't fall asleep at night. So another thing to keep in mind. So there's a lot of other things you could do to improve your sleep, but these are just the things that helped me out a lot. Everything on here helped me out, but the main things that I would really suggest is taping your mouth shut, the weighted blanket, and the unwinding activity. These are the two people that I got the majority of my information from, Dr. Matthew Walker and Dr. Andrew Huberman. I'll link down their podcast and YouTube channels in the description if you want to check out their stuff more, but I highly recommend checking them out. Both of them have a lot of good stuff on how to improve your sleep and a lot of other things. So yeah, but thank you for watching. These are just the things that helped me improve my sleep a lot, and I hope you try some of them out. And yeah, I'm still trying to get better at making YouTube videos, so you know, I didn't sound as articulate as I want during this video, and I don't think I got the points off as well as I want to, but you know, I know like everything else, I just have to keep doing it more and more, and eventually I'll get better and better. And yeah, I just know it's a marathon, not a sprint, so you know, I'll just keep that in mind when I'm making these videos. But I'll see you in the next video.